something up. Let me ask you. What's that? Oh, huh? What is it? Let's do a read. All right, let's do collage. Joy? Here we go. Too fragile? Too fragile? Too fragile? Okay. Something recognizable. Fragile. Fragile.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm James Price. I will be your MC for the evening. Welcome to the 2022 Cocktail Countdown. Please enjoy Copacetic and Stephen Spotswood while we prepare for our program. Ladies and gentlemen, our program will begin in 20 minutes. Thank you for being with us this evening. enjoying yourselves this evening. We will begin our program in about 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, feel free to start gathering your drinks and snacks and making your way to your seats. We will begin our program in 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We will begin our program shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We will begin our program shortly.
Good to see you again, man.
Please welcome to the stage Stephanie Meredith, External Relations Director at State Auto Companies.
Hi. Welcome. I'm Stephanie Meredith, External Relations Director for State Auto, host of Homeport's 2022 Voice and Vision program. It's hard to believe it's been a year since State Auto was honored by Homeport with the Voice and Vision honor. I believe my taped remarks during last year's virtual program still holds true. I'm an associate of State Auto, and we believe in giving back in the communities in which we work and live through our time, talent, and treasure. Let me say that we had hoped to host the program last year, but COVID got in the way of all of that great planning. But hey, here we are, finally. So let me welcome you to State Auto and to another great Homeport celebration with a new honoree and a special anniversary of 35 great years. Now it's my great pleasure to welcome to the stage Emmett Kelly, Homeport's board chair.
Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, State Auto, for your support and for providing a home for tonight's 2022 Voice and Vision program. Hello, everyone. I'm Emmett Kelly, Chair of the Homeport Board of Directors, and I'm here to welcome you to our annual program featuring a special recognition, as Stephanie said, of Homeport's 35th anniversary. Our program tonight will celebrate our mission of building stronger communities through much-needed affordable housing and to recognize all who have carried us to this point. Looking back throughout the organization's existence, there has been resiliency and growth. In recent years alone, we have overcome a pandemic, supply chain slowdowns, and inflation. Opened for business in 1987, Homeport today has 42 developments and almost 7,000 residents throughout Central Ohio. That's a big number. Yeah, exactly. 42 is a big number too. Our strength comes from staffing, leadership, and partnership. Thank you to all of you for being here. Most recently, at the end of 2021, we said thank you to Bruce Lukey, and I know Bruce is here, for the service and lead. Yeah, go ahead. For his service and leadership. And we welcomed our new president, Leah Evans. Unanimous board choice. Leah has continued the work to grow our impact. This year alone, celebrating the groundbreaking, our innovative partnerships of affordable housing at Easton, in Franklinton, and in Linden. I am so excited for what is to come as Leah and Hopeport's executive team lead a staff whose dedication and passion is second to none. Those aren't just words, that is the truth. Our partners recognize that excellence, as do national organizations like our key funder, NeighborWorks America. As we begin our program tonight, it's critically important that we thank our sponsors, beginning with our presenting sponsor, MI Homes. Thank you, Bobby. Our strong community sponsors, Huntington and Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing. Our cornerstone sponsors, American Electric Power Foundation, Fifth Third Bank, First Merchants Bank, Installed Building Products, Kelly Companies, the Robert Weiler Company, Rockford Homes, State Auto Insurance Companies, and Wallach Communities. Thank you. Also like to thank our Education and Power sponsors, Casto, EMH&T, and Team Fishel. And yes, please. And finally, let's recognize our opportunity sponsors, Central Ohio Community Improvement Corporation, Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority, Columbus Realtors, Live, PNC, and Wolf Associates Fund, a fund of the Columbus Foundation. Thank you to all. Thank you, and thank you all sponsors and supporters of Homeport. We'd also like to acknowledge the many public officials of their representatives or their representatives in attendance from federal, state, and local offices. We value our public sector partners and they're all critical to our ongoing success. I've been handed a list of some of the folks in attendance. I know our friend from Grove City, Mayor Ike Stage, is here. Right next to him, our former mayor, Mayor Coleman. Thank you. And Terry, yes, Terry Ifababa. How do I say that correctly? Say it again? Ifaduba. Thank you, Terry. Terry on the spot. Well, thank you much to all of you. Okay, as you know, one of our sponsors tonight is our honoree Huntington, represented by its chairman, president, and CEO, Mr. Steve Steinauer. Mr. Steinauer met with our board and leadership team recently and challenged us as we look to continue our mission and achieving new goals, to be ambitious. And as I told you earlier, that really struck home with us. So thank you, Mr. Steinauer. He nailed it. Yes, Maud, you're right. He nailed it. We all need to be ambitious to meet the affordable housing market and demand. You will learn more, obviously, about why we are honoring Huntington throughout the program. But now, let's begin the program.
Welcome to the stage, Jadira Hoptree, Senior Vice President, Director of Community Lending and Development, First Merchants Bank.
Buenas noches. Good evening, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here. Again, my name is Jadira Hoptree, and I am the Director of Lending and Development. And as the honoree, congratulations. Many of us have to do a lot of work to make it happen. It takes all of us to be together. First Merchants, as well as you, is honored to be a friend, and a partner of Homeport. We have learned so much about our community. Thank you for letting us understand the community and continue to serve. In First Merchants, we also want to help you and help our community prosper. We are proud of ourselves in developing relationships that enhance the financial wellness of the diverse communities that we serve. It is important that everybody is served in our community. In that regard, our mission aligns perfectly with Homeport's mission and is laser focused on building the finances of the community's residents and those who rent or lease from Homeport residences and communities. It is why First Merchants Bank is immensely proud to support Homeport's incredibly valuable Housing Advisory Services Department and partner to offer multiple homeownership programs, including our own Next Horizon Mortgage Program, which offered up to 100% financing and not PMI, important for our communities. Over the years, Homeport Housing Advisory Services has enhanced the lives of thousands of Central Ohio residents. Not everyone who takes a Homeport course runs out and buys a home, but they learn the process. But in only the year of 2021 alone, 414 clients of Homeport purchased and created $7 million in housing. That's an astounding number. Thank you. Additionally, 252 clients receive credit counseling, so important in our communities. Another 28 receive advice for foreclosure prevention, which is as well very, very important. But we all know numbers are numbers, statistics are powerful. It is especially important to hear it from our community. So let us hear the impactful story of the Framingham Village residents, Terry and Carl Hearn, their journey to homeownership and joy resulting from their perseverance, as well as support from the Homeport team. The Hearns leased their home for 20 years before purchasing it with guidance of the Homeport staff, mostly notably Senior Housing Advisor Layden Hill.
I was a single mother in this house for a large part of the time that I was here, so I was thrilled and delighted. Then found out the opportunity to become an owner of this property was even greater for me, so that my children would have a continuous place to live. My children would even be able to see what home ownership looked like for themselves in the future. So the road getting here, to answer that, was difficult, because being a single mother of four, not making a lot of money at the time, it just was not something I even thought about. So then bringing my husband in a few years later, actually 11 years later, it made it even greater, because that was something that he and I could share together. Let's fast forward to, I believe it was 2019. We got our letters. Hey, your 15 years are about up. This is, there's time, you've got to, we're beyond the 15 years at this point, but it's time. And so they were saying, let's get started. And so went through all of these different channels with Homeport. Had to sit down with Layton and had to sit down with counseling and had to go through the home buyers classes, which we had already been to 2 before. Sat down with Layton.
Remember us working with them through those obstacles. We worked with them to come up with a plan to purchase their home within a year to achieve that goal. Some things happened, and then we're still with them to help them work through the obstacles. They couldn't start the plan when we gave it to them because the money just was not there. And for a lot of people, when that happens, they just give up and start living life.
After you keep the process, keep going, you keep saying, no, this isn't happening. So when we lose a little bit of money, you start having a little doubts and being a little skeptical. So I think for me, just a little bit, but for her, never. She kept pushing till the end.
But the one thing I remember about the Hearns was they, even though they didn't have the money to do it right then, they kept that plan. And when the money started to come in, they were then able to start to pay those things down and to work that plan.
You know, when things are easy for you, you don't understand and appreciate the value of it. They made us work for this. Going to the home, you know, not only the home buyer classes, but even being a homeowner and being a tenant of their property, we had to go through upkeep classes.
The good thing is, if Homeport was not there to help them stay on the track, a lot more people would have given up.
I've put in my time, I've done the work, I've kept the yard up, I've kept, you know, with his pushing and prodding, and he's forcing me to make sure that the house looks great. There's no way, this house belongs to us. We're gonna do this. And it happened. And so we closed on February 7th, 2020.
Don't be afraid to fall down. But all you have to do is dust yourself off and get back up, get your action plan, and get right back into it.
I'm grateful for the journey, and I do appreciate it. And just being able to say, this is ours, and we're grateful for what we have.
Welcome to the stage, Angela Mingo, Chair of the Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing Board.
Good evening. As you have heard already tonight, one of Homeport's strategic pillars is its laser-focused commitment to its residents. And one important aspect of that focus is the children of Homeport and the free summer and after-school programming provided to them. As the chair of the Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing Board, I am proud to say that our charitable arm provided approximately $650,000 in grants to 25 sites in Ohio and Kentucky this summer. Thank you. Including $60,000 towards programming at Homeport's Traybue Crossing Apartments. Decades of research show that positive impact of summer programs include improved academic performance and classroom behavior, better health outcomes and graduation rates, reduced drug and criminal behavior, and increased participation by parents confident their children are in a safe environment. Homeport summer camps offer free childcare and meals, fun field trips, physical and educational activities at 7 locations. They encourage healthy social interactions and can relieve stress that low-income families often experience, especially single-parent households. In closing, let me reiterate that we at OCCH and our charitable Ohio Capital Impact Corporation are immensely proud of how grants we provide for after-school and summer break programs in Ohio are helping to teach children math, English, culture, and social skills. In the upcoming video, you will hear an extraordinary story of a mother in Homeport's Traybue Crossing Apartments who improved her English thanks to her children bringing home what they learned at the community center. The mother, Halima Abdullahi, became so proficient in English that after-school providers, Ethiopian Tawahedo Social Services, ETSS, asked her to be a part of its educational team and encourage other parents to have their children enrolled. So let's go to the video and hear Halima's heartwarming story.
I'm original from Somali. I came here 2014, and in Traybue Crossing I'm staying 7 years. Homeport helps me for housing. In my first time when since I came from United States, they are the one who helped me for housing. As a mom, I cannot afford to pay money, but the Traybue Crossing clubhouse help us for English, say for second class. It's encouragement for me because myself, I'm a mom with 4 kids, and I just say that when I came to United States America, I just focused to learn English because wherever you go, even if you go to Walmart, they speak to you English. My firstborn is boy, his name is Amin, and he's 13 years. The second one is a girl, she called Sumaya. She is 12 years, and the other one is 11 years, called Salma, and the smallest is 9 years. Now I'm a tutor now. I'm helping them grade 1, 2, 3. It's not only my children who I'm helping them, but also my neighbors, the kids. I'm helping the kids. And I like to work with the community. Some friends told me that ETSS wants someone who can work with the community. Then I go there. They told me that they need me. Then that is how they hire me. Because I'm paying my electricity, I'm paying my bills, my car payment. It helps me a lot. I know my kids sometimes that when I ask them that what you're gonna do in the future, they say that I'm gonna be an engineer, I'm gonna be a teacher, I'm gonna be this. It makes me happy because they help me for their homework. They are my teachers. They're the one who teaches me a lot. The English that I'm talking to you people. This little English, I work hard for it. Thanks. Tell them thank you for whoever is helping us. I'm just say thanks.
Welcome to the stage, Amy Albury, Chief Executive Officer, Wallach Communities.
Good evening. Homeport and Wallach's mission statements both contain the word opportunity. At Wallach, our mission is about opening doors to homes, opportunities, and hope. At Homeport, it is to create strong communities by developing quality, affordable homes on a cornerstone of dignity, security, and opportunity. I believe there is a reason we both specifically use the word opportunity. It means a set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. Both of our organizations are laser focused on doing just that for the residents that live with us. Helping one person might not change the world, but it could change the world for one person. And worlds were certainly changed when Wallach had the honor of helping many Afghan refugees find their home in Wallach and Homeport communities. Join me in hearing the story of the Hamidi brothers and their courageous journey from Afghanistan to Columbus, Ohio.
It was 15 August of 2021. Taliban came over to the capital of Afghanistan, Kabul province, and then it got evening, night, it was 10 p.m. It was already dark, and then we came to the airport.
We had just personal items with cell phone, that's it, nothing. We left everything in our house because that night, in 15 August night, we lived in Afghanistan. That night was very bad night in every pupil of Afghanistan, especially for army, family, especially for my father. Because of that, we had just personal items, just phone, nothing.
There was no water, everybody was thirsty, hungry, and everybody was praying, hopefully we get out of Afghanistan. Then El Paso of Texas, and then Dona Ana, which is in New Mexico. It's an army base, a desert, a big desert, and more than 10,000 Afghans we were living there. When we flew to the Columbus, U.S. Department gave us some papers, kind of ID. Hey, when you get to the Columbus, there are some people that are waiting for you guys. They're gonna find you. And from ETSS, Tatiana and Nurgul is from Afghanistan. He was translator. We faced with them for the first time.
My name is Tatiana Bujanovsky. I was born and raised in Macedonia, came to Central Ohio in 1988, and I have been working with ETSS for the last 9 years. ETSS stands for Ethiopian Tawahedo Social Services. Tawahedo is a word that means one or unity, all as one. When founder and CEO Dr. Seleshi started the organization, they only worked with Ethiopians, but then soon he realized that there were many other people from many different countries that needed help, so he opened the doors to everyone from all corners of life.
Homeport ETSS really helped us to get an apartment by our own. It was a great help for us.
Some of the challenges are that in order to get into a house, into an apartment, you have to meet all these qualifications. Well, none of these qualifications are going to be met with refugees, and there were only very few organizations or companies, including Homeport, that said, yes, we are here to help the refugees and we'll work with you. From the very beginning, the Hamidi brothers struck me as very independent. We met with them the following day to apply for benefits and to do all the formal stuff.
ETSS helped us a lot. They helped us for transportation, they helped us for shopping, they helped us how to get food from like maybe Walmart or some other areas. And then when we got our social, they helped us to get an apartment by our own name, to start a new journey by our own. Let's handle everything by our own and take everything on our hand.
I'm in Amazon as a security officer.
Right now I'm working as a civil engineering and OHM advisors.
My biggest goal is to go to school. I want to start computer science right here.
Going back to school, getting master's degree, and then improve my skills, improve myself to my own field, which is civil engineering, and then maybe have a construction company, start a new business from small to make it like bigger. Perhaps having family members beside myself, that they are left back in Iran right now. When I'm facing with some problems, with some issues that everybody is facing in their life, and I'm thinking, hey, you have a good job, you're working right now, you're healthy, come on, go forward. And it keeps me happy. It keeps me to stand, to go forward.
Welcome to the stage, Julie Wallach, Principal at Wallach Communities.
Okay. 56 years ago, my dad, Jack Wallach, and Sandy Goldston took over a defunct, I'm sorry, I'm having difficulty reading. So 56 years ago, my dad, Jack Wallach, and Sandy Goldston took over the liabilities and abandoned contracts of a defunct out-of-state contractor. Jack and Sandy restored trust and established a foundation of integrity. It is this legacy that my brother Howard and I and all Wallach associates live by today. Wallach's relationship with Homeport dates back over 3 decades with the 100-unit apartment complex at Indian Mound that we built and that we still manage to this day. It was one of Homeport's first low-income housing tax credit finance developments. I'm proud to say that Wallach today manages most of Homeport's communities, 37 of them with over 2,200 units, and growing, including the newly opening Maple Meadows apartments in Northland area. The Homeport Wallach relationship works because we care, we trust, and we respect each other. Tonight, we celebrate the 35th anniversary. Please watch the following video about Homeport's affordable housing mission, its leadership, and why so many have collaborated with Homeport to make a difference. Thank you.
In the mid-1980s, the Columbus and Franklin County Housing Commission studied this region and concluded that almost 56,000 households were living in substandard housing.
I believe Don Kelly first learned about Jim Rouse and the work that he was doing with Enterprise Foundation. And the conversation came together as to how can we raise the capital and have an impact at scale. And that's how Columbus Housing Partnership got created.
In 1984, I was president of the Board of Realtors, and I wanted to involve the real estate board more in community aspects. And Irv wanted to do that with the home builders.
My dad, who was the co-founder of our company, was approached by Don Kelly, a very good friend of his and someone he had enormous respect for. And Don explained to him that we, as the largest builder in Columbus, needed to be involved in this affordable housing initiative.
With Jimmy Rouse, we sat down and asked him if he would be able and willing to come to Columbus, Ohio, and help us set up an entity like he had set up in DC and Baltimore.
And so when Don came back with Max, they were so enthused about it and said, you know, this is something we need to do as realtors, as people who are in that profession. If we don't take the lead, who will?
Bob Yoakum, the owner of our organization, and Don Kelly and Bob Weiler, and they rented a charter bus and they drove around town, and people from the Enterprise Foundation were there and told us what they did and that they wanted to come to Columbus, Ohio to assist in our housing needs here.
It was a fascinating time in that first couple of years for Columbus Housing Partnership. There was Jim Rouse, this just amazing, larger-than-life figure, you know, who was developing housing through Enterprise. And Columbus Housing Partnership was the Columbus expression of a lot of Jim's vision.
Jim, of course, was the motivator, the spiritual guidance for things going on in Columbus. He got things going. But I want to mention a guy named Nick Farr, who was a senior at Enterprise. He, maybe more than anyone, established the Columbus Housing Partnership, hired the first folks who were there.
In Columbus, CHP was definitely unique. First of all, it was community-wide. Secondly, it sort of followed the model of the Columbus Way, if you're familiar with that, which brought the public sector, leadership in government, leadership in the private sector together to address a problem. Ohio Capital, we were all about raising capital for our partners like Homeport, CHP, but it's really, you know, Homeport that did the tough job, which is to develop the property.
In December 1988, with the financial support of Huntington, the Galt Manor renovation were started to create safe, decent, and affordable housing for 48 families. The renovated community would be called Vida We Village.
Affordable housing is needed not only for the housing piece, but for empowerment with our families and our communities. Because if they have housing and if they have that core support, then everything else will follow into place.
The first project we did with Columbus Housing Partnership didn't go that well. It was called Homes on the Hill, and it was the rehabilitation of duplexes scattered throughout the Hilltop neighborhood in the city of Columbus. In those days, we really just getting started. We didn't know what we were doing, to tell you the truth. Neither the folks at Ohio Capital or CHP. We didn't do enough rehab. We underestimated operating costs. But at the end of the day, both CHP and Ohio Capital stepped up to make sure it was successful.
This was in the early days of the low-income housing tax credit program. And so CHP then got its start doing tax credit deals. The Enterprise Foundation was working in Columbus really to do two things. One was to establish a high production nonprofit that would produce affordable housing and continue on producing affordable housing.
Our Indian Mountain apartment communities was a partnership with Wallach and Lutheran Social Service. It featured a unique design to allow parents to watch their children playing at a central playground through their kitchen window. Emerald Glen was a special community. It was named after the Emerald City in The Wizard of Oz, and Don Kelly commissioned t-shirts that said, "If we only have the brains, the heart, and the courage, everyone would have a home." Currently, 130 families reside there.
We did a project, Framingham, which was kind of our jewel project at the time, because even though it was a tax credit rental project at the time, the intention was that after the qualifying 15-year tax credit period, those individuals who occupied the residence or the apartments would have the opportunity to purchase their first home.
When I first look at my tree, when I first moved in, it was just a little twig, a little Charlie Brown tree. And then I look, it's like, okay, this tree has been here as long as I have been here, and it has grown so beautifully. And I think that, in my heart that I have, because I started to believe in me. I believed in Homeport.
We engaged somewhere between 40 and 70 individuals on a full-time and part-time basis in the AmeriCorps program, attempting to give them a sense of what it meant to contribute to your community and to become involved in community services and community support. Home ownership counseling was really a very important part of what Homeport did during that time. We had regular weekly classes with folk. We had a program that allowed some individuals to select a home.
So NeighborWorks America approached us to become a member of their organization. This would be important as a way to have additional training opportunities for staff. They have grants, and they are a national presence with policymaking. So fast forward to mid-2000s, there's a growing senior population in the community. And what we saw was that there were people living in Homeport communities who were now single. Their children had grown up, either in school themselves or their own lives. And what happens to people who need affordable housing as they age? So Homeport decided to create its first affordable housing community for seniors, and that was Fieldstone. That was a huge success.
It would be nice if there could be more people could move into a facility like this and just have the joy in them that I have. Wake up in the morning satisfied and go to sleep at night satisfied.
It was a vision of mine after traveling to Cleveland to see that the city of Cleveland, along with the council people and folks up there, created an urban parade of homes right in the Tufton area off of 55th over on the east side of Cleveland. And so I said, hey, why can't we do this in Columbus, Ohio? Because if we put the land together and find the people, I think we can build it. So came back to Columbus, looked on a map, and saw a particular street where there was one or two owners that had multiple properties, along with the city of Columbus. I called my friends at Homeport. A.B. Clayman was the CEO at the time, and Maud Hill, and a gentleman named Craig Murphy.
My role was to create the home ownership division. So anything that we built or renovated that was for sale, it was built and renovated for affordable homeownership opportunities. And we created a model which was, rather than just do a house here, a house there, and they were scattered, we decided to go deep into a place. And I never forget that when we started our first house there, a woman up the street said, "You'll never sell a house there here. You'll never sell a house." Well, we rebuilt 21st Street, 20th Street, Miami, 22nd Street, and physically rebuilt the infrastructure of those streets, those alleys, and then built homes that were for sale, that were affordable, both new builds and renovated. Created the first LEED certified home in the state of Ohio at the time, platinum level home. Those homes sold, and it took time. It wasn't easy, but we built a vision for the future, and I think that that's what people have benefited from today. Our work is about keeping people in place. We also found grants, and we're making lots of improvements to their homes, their roofs, porches, windows, door, all the things that we could do to help.
Homeport at different times, they put 5 windows in for me to begin with, and because of their generosity, I was able to add 2 myself.
If I ever had the opportunity, I want to make a difference. Lo and behold, years later, I became the mayor. And Marie Moreland was the mayor of American Addition. And so after she struggled over the years trying to get attention and trying to get resources, I said, "I'm your partner." She also reached out to Homeport and said, "We need housing."
So we partnered with this neighborhood group and began acquiring property for the whole neighborhood. And then we partnered with the city of Columbus and Mayor Coleman at the time around an investment to redevelop all the infrastructure for the entire neighborhood. And that took a really long time. That was a really valuable lesson I learned about alignment. And we had a lot of champions within the city that helped us get there.
We realized that when people come to buy homes, they don't want to purchase from what sounds like an institution, Columbus Housing Partnership. Working with an ad agency, we came up with the name Homeport as a way to describe the sale division of the organization. So over a few years, we realized that the name Homeport really resonated with people who came to the organization for homebuyer education or all the other services and programs that were being provided. And again, it doesn't sound institutional. The name Columbus Housing Partnership served the organization well for many, many years, but it was time to think differently about the organization's future.
What we were experts at was real estate development, was managing that real estate, and then also working with individuals to understand what their unique issues were to make sure they stay housed and they stayed stable. That allowed us to step back and say, well, what are the things that we're best at? And it came down to 3 things. The first was all around closing the gap around housing. So development of housing and building, more and more housing for people. Number 2 was ensuring that we had a laser focus on our clients and our customers. That means 2 or 3 things. Number 1, we have great places, buildings, places we'd all be proud to live in, right? Then we take care of them so that our clients are glad to live there and proud to be there. Number 2, we wanted to make sure that people stayed housed. How do we keep our family stable? And then thirdly, They do also our clients run into a number of issues that might involve deeper social services needs. And so we have a great group of social workers really that work together with our clients and with our residents, understand what the needs are, and then refer them to the right place. And really then our third priority, and it goes back to being around for 35 and more years, is ensure that our mission endures.
No matter how big your dreams are for Central Ohio, you're not dreaming big enough. I think that's a great challenge for us and Homeport to expand the dreams and the possibilities.
Welcome to the stage, Leah Evans, Homeport's President and CEO.
Good evening. It is my great pleasure and my honor to stand before you in person as the 5th president and CEO of this great organization. We are celebrating 35 years of building strong communities. It's been over 3 years since we were last together, and can I just say, it is good to see you and good to be seen. One of my favorite quotes about history is, if we have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. I like this thought because not only does it acknowledge those that came before us, but it calls them giants, meaning their contributions were great, outsized even. Those contributions set the stage for our success today. I feel that tonight. So before I go any further, I want to acknowledge one of those giants among us, Maud Hill. She's gonna make us pay later, but for now. In her 33 years with Homeport, she has gone above and beyond so often that beyond has become the new standard. Excellence is her brand and her purpose. She has brought that and so much more heart to her work with us. Please join me in taking a moment to thank Maud for her commitment, her sacrifice, and her hard work for and with Homeport and the people of Central Ohio. I'm gonna need security to escort me to my car, because she gonna make me pay for that. Thank you, James. The history you have seen tells the story of not only our organization, but of Columbus and Central Ohio. It's a story of collaboration and collective impact. It's a story of our leaders and the people of our Central Ohio community. It is the history that has positioned us to be a growing and vibrant community today. Not every city can say that. Not every community has the wealth of opportunities before us. And with our great opportunities also come some challenges. Challenges like, how do we move people around the region safely and efficiently? Challenges related to how do we grow sustainably with an eye on our energy needs and the impacts on our environment. Challenges of how do we invest in our education and workforce systems to support the job growth and grow our local talent. And here's the one that is the most pressing for us. How do we house everyone? From my view, housing is at the intersection of every personal and societal goal that there is, whether it's physical and mental health, economic success, or educational attainment. If it's job and business growth, quality schools, or community-wide safety and quality of life. So what is our role as a housing organization in ensuring the success of our whole community? How do we continue building strong communities in 2022 and beyond? 2 words, resilience and hope. When I heard the stories and reflections shared, one word stood out in my mind continually, resiliency. The Hearn family, the Hamidi brothers, and Miss Abdullahi all talked about having to overcome challenges, some even threats to their lives, and working to get to a place of safety, security, and stability. We are so appreciative that they were willing to share their stories with us and with you, because they represent 3 stories out of thousands. Every one of our residents has their own story of resiliency and overcoming. I reflect on the resiliency of our organization. Did you see the name changes, the leadership changes, the office changes? Just think how much our world has changed in 35 years. You all remember that before we all had cell phones. That was then. Our organization has grown and changed as our community has, from changing funding priorities to changing interest rates, through downturns in the economy to elimination of whole programs. We have remained committed to strengthening our community through housing and navigating an ever-changing environment to do it. There is strength in enduring, staying the course, and being a constant. Another word that jumped out to me is hope. During the most difficult times, our residents can find hope with us. You heard them share that they didn't know if they could do it, but with the support of Homeport staff and partners, they did. They purchased a home. They found their way to safety. They learned a new language and started helping others in their community. Home is the beginning and the ending in their story and in ours. Home provides protection, security, stability, and strength. At home, there is hope. So when I reflect on what it is we do with you and with your support, we provide a source of hope in uncertain times. We are a constant in the community for those that are the most vulnerable and faced with the worst kind of choices. Choices between what you need and what you have to have. Food or rent or medicine or childcare or transportation. One present example is our work through the Homeport Resident Assistance Fund to Thrive. Even now, 2.5 years since the onset of the pandemic, we continue to see resident needs for financial assistance at 3 and 4 times the level they were at in 2019. As our community transitions to our new normal, many of our neighbors are still struggling to maintain their housing amid rising costs for food, transportation, and services. Your generosity has allowed us to be present with our residents, providing financial assistance, but also hope that there is a way forward. So tonight we celebrate with you all of our partners. Now, usually when we say that, we mean the people that fund us, which is critically important, and I will make an ask later. But we also mean those that lend their voice, their influence, and their platforms to advance our mission. Let's be honest, when we're working on a new development, we are always faced with hard conversations. Conversations that often center around what people do or do not want in their backyard. I want to invite to the stage Doug Buchanan, Editor-in-Chief of Columbus Business First, to receive our Spirit of Homeport Award. Doug, we cannot thank you enough for having made room for our work in places and spaces that we have never had access to by using your voice to call the community to address density, land use, and housing affordability in conjunction with our business and economic goals. Your commitment to the development of a diverse, vibrant, economically successful community drove you to lean in on housing and support our efforts to advance new affordable housing and our peers across the residential real estate community. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you. Well, first off, I realize I'm the undercard to Steinauer Schottenstein, so I will make this brief. Columbus Business First has a long history with Homeport and the housing, engaging with the housing industry. Carol Williams, our former publisher, was one of the founding board members of Homeport. And honestly, that continues to this day. Our current publisher, Nick Fortini, has told the newsroom that one of his missions for the paper is to be more engaged in the critical conversations that we're having around this community and economic development. Obviously, economic development is our focus. And so we have been putting more resources into workforce and inclusive development and, of course, housing. So for Homeport to recognize that is truly appreciated. It is an all-staff award. We do have a couple of real estate reporters, but we also understand that housing is public health, housing is retail, housing is transit, and so we get the whole staff involved when we're talking about this industry. One thing that I try to I try to convey the critical nature of housing, and I've always typically gone to climate change analogies. You can look at metaphorical wildfires in the housing industry all up and down California or in Seattle or Nashville or Austin, places that are growing much faster than us. And, I think that works to a certain extent to get people engaged. But this year, the great thing was we had this bright, shiny object rising above us in the northeast part of the city, like an asteroid kind of coming at us. And before I go any further, is anybody from Intel here tonight? Okay, good enough, because the reason I bring this up is because, what American ingenuity and American foresight this year accomplished something that had never been accomplished before. We sent a rocket out into space, and we actually just kind of nudged an asteroid off of its pace, and it went wildly in a different direction. And it just shows that if you just make small steps now, the impact 10 years, 20 years down the road can be enormous. And so that's my message tonight, is because, America, if we don't take immediate action, America has been through this movie before, and you end up with Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck, and a nuclear bomb trying to take care of the situation, when in fact, if we had just done the small things 20 years ago, we wouldn't have to accomplish that. So we don't want to become a plot of the movie Armageddon, so let's take action now. This is the Voice and Vision Award celebration. Everybody in this room has the vision. We just need to continue to raise our voices, and we'll get this solved. Thank you very much to Homeport and to everybody else.
Welcome to the stage, Bob Schottenstein, Chairman of the Board, Chief Executive Officer, and President of M.I. Homes.
Good evening, everyone. Steve, it's hard for me to read your writing. It actually is hard for me to read with the lights here, but good evening, everyone, and it is a great honor to be here, and it's actually humbling because you hear the numbers of the families that have been impacted by the extraordinary work of this organization, and as the video revealed, behind every one of those numbers is a story, and the more you listen to the story, the more you realize there but for the grace of God, go I. And Homeport is just getting started and has accomplished a lot, but I know it's just getting started. So it is a great honor for me to speak tonight about the recipients for this year's Voice and Vision Award, Huntington, as well as its chairman and CEO, Steve Steinauer, and his wife, Patty. Homeport means a great deal to me, and our company, M.I. Homes, as was mentioned in the video. My dad got lucky when his great friend Don Kelly and Bob Weiler reached out to him and said, "You need to get involved in this organization." I don't think he otherwise would have, but he did and became one of the founding board members in 1987. And since that time, our company has without fail been committed to supporting the extraordinary work and the mission of Homeport in providing affordable housing to so many and to assisting countless families with homebuyer education and credit counseling. By every measure, And I've been told this by Maud more than once, so I know it to be true. HomeBoard is the largest locally focused nonprofit developer of affordable housing in Greater Central Ohio, and that's a big deal. To honor Huntington and Patty and Steve tonight is especially meaningful to me. First, Huntington, an iconic corporate citizen, 150-plus year record of not just supporting our city through its business, but also supporting our city philanthropically, our most treasured institutions and causes. You always see the Huntington name. In the case of our company, much of our success is owed to the near 50-year relationship that our company's had with Huntington, and it is a very special relationship. In addition to being dear personal friends, Steve and Patty Steinauer personify commitment to community. They care. They care about the community and every part of it. They selflessly and continuously give of their time and their treasure. From chairing the United Way campaign to leading, most recently, the capital campaign for the Mid-Ohio Food Collective, to serving on the Pelotonia board, to helping to lead the New Albany Community Foundation, to serving on the board of the Wexner Medical Center. I could go on and on and on. Those are just to name a few. Steve and Patty are exemplary community leaders whose involvement and commitment to so many things is not just an inspiration to me, but it's an inspiration to everyone that knows them. Together, they have made Columbus a better place, and we got really lucky when they chose to move here a number of years ago. Huntington has been a champion, in fact, the leading champion of affordable housing in Columbus since the day Homeport was formed. Again, as the video articulated, Homeport's very first development near Livingston and Nelson Avenues would not have occurred had Huntington not stood up and provided the support. That was pretty heroic at that time. Someone had to be first, and it was Huntington. And its commitment has been unabated since that time. Most recently, Huntington was instrumental in providing both equity and financing to develop nearly 170 homes for families and seniors in Reynoldsburg, Northland, Franklinton, and Whitehall. Huntington has also been a significant funder of Homeport's homebuyer education classes. I don't think any other corporation or business in our city has been as invested or supported in the work of Homeport than Huntington. So I could go on, but without further ado, I'd like to now introduce a video highlighting the enduring and consequential impact of Huntington and Steve and Patty Steinauer.
What I love about Columbus is how we work together. And it's remarkable to me to watch the banks work together. There's true friendships. It doesn't matter. I think we put aside our banking logos and we roll up our sleeves. And Huntington is just a shining example of that.
Huntington has an incredible legacy in our community of supporting all kinds of community needs. And I believe, like our company, MI Homes, Huntington has been involved in supporting Homeport since day one, all the way back in 1987.
Huntington and the entire banking ecosystem here in Columbus has just been incredibly collaborative and incredibly important to the work that we're doing, and not only in the past, but we're looking forward to the future.
What I'm so proud of with our financial institutions, and in this case Huntington, is their extraordinary efforts to go well beyond that, and to not only participate in these efforts, but to work to deeply understand the obstacles to affordability for housing across our community.
Well, the Huntington Bank has taken the lead in ensuring that there is housing for all in Columbus, Ohio. And so being able to partner with Huntington to be able to have a financial institution who understands what housing does and what it means, not for their own benefit, but how housing for everybody is beneficial to the entire community. And that's what Huntington represents.
Huntington's been a partner in so many ways in this community. They truly are a hometown bank.
What I see about Huntington, they have become such role models in our community because they truly live the welcome motto of theirs and local, that local matters. And so in every community where Huntington is, and let's talk about Columbus, they are role models. They're on nonprofit boards. They really understand the challenges. They listen to neighbors. They listen to entrepreneurs who are banking with them. They see the challenges and they jump in.
They have provided more equity dollars. Mr. Steinhauer himself has taken the lead and brought in others who are very committed to affordable housing, those in not only the banking community, but throughout Columbus. But he's taken the lead.
We at the Affordable Housing Trust, we raised $100 million to address the financing need for housing. And Huntington was at the forefront of that, coming in with $40 million as our largest investor in that fund.
Going back to 2009 to the financial crisis, the capital for investment in affordable housing essentially evaporated overnight as banks were facing their own issues. At that time, Huntington stepped up. Steve Steinhauer led the way after a lot of due diligence and investigation, and they committed $100 million to Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing to get projects sponsored by Homeport and others under construction. And that was a time, it's like, when you've got a good friend is when they step up in hard times, and Steve Steinhauer and Huntington stepped up in a big way at that time.
So Huntington was one of the pioneers with us as we did one of our most ambitious projects on the south side. We set up a financing that Huntington was involved with to do 140 affordable rental units, high quality rental units, and they were right there at the beginning, shoulder to shoulder with us, and enabled that to happen.
So after that initial commitment that was supposed to last 3 years, we invested that with Homeport and others in 2 years, and Steve Steinhauer challenged us to, with another commitment, $150 million, but in addition, he asked us to get creative. So we actually came up with a program where we set aside some of the funds for resident services. We sent hundreds of kids to camp, and then 2 years later, Huntington stepped up with another $150 million commitment and challenged us again, this again Steve, so we created a digital inclusion program that provided internet access and computers to hundreds of people, seniors, youngsters throughout the state of Ohio.
He was instrumental in ensuring that the Huntington Empowerment Center was funded and that we were able to erect this business center that exists today.
Huntington provides not only financial leadership, but they also provide encouragement to so many others in the community. We're all grateful for Huntington's support.
And Steve was one of the first people I met when I transitioned to president and CEO. And what I remember most is not only talking about the business of housing, but also his encouragement. His telling me to get out there, be dynamic, take chances, make housing personal, just very supportive personally, and then supportive of the trust as well.
So the Columbus Urban League and Steve Steinhauer developed a true partnership when I first became CEO because he believed in the mission, he believed in the work, but let alone he also believed in my leadership. And so through his mentorship, I have been able to not only grow in this community, but to grow our organization.
A lot of leaders who talk the talk, but there are not too many who walk the walk. And nobody walks better and at a better pace than Steve Steinhauer.
Well, I think what's most important is you're going to see Steve show up. He'll be at the table. He'll understand the issues. He'll sit across from the leaders. He'll sit across from the customer. He'll sit across from those that live in our community and understand the problems firsthand.
Steve Steinhauer is a force. He's a force of nature. He wills things to happen because he is out front. He does not shy away from challenges.
I mean, he literally, his energy, his passion, his commitment to everybody in this community, just shows up every day. And to me, that's pretty special. He's also one of the most humblest people I've ever met. Well, simply put, Steve Steinhauer is a rock star in my mind.
It is truly magical when we all work together and build these champions and say, we will make this happen. That it happens. And it happens in Columbus that way. We talk about the Columbus way. It's because we do stack hands and commit and stay with projects like affordable housing. That is so critical right now.
Pick an area where you're interested and jump in, whether that's development of affordable housing, such as what Homeport does, financing of affordable housing, such as what Huntington does, or just getting out there and using your voices as individuals to talk about our need for housing for all of our citizens.
Solving this problem is not a spectator sport. You got to get in the action. You can't just watch and hope it'll get better, because it won't. So we all have a choice to make. Do we choose to participate, or do we let others do the work and hope they'll get it done? And I think that that's really the question that we all have to ask ourselves. What role are we willing to play in this absolutely urgent need?
Presenting the 2022 Voice and Vision Award recipient, Huntington. Accepting on behalf of Huntington is Chairman, President, and CEO Steve Steinhauer.
Well, that must have put you all to sleep. Bobby, I don't know who wrote that, but we obviously need to give him a few pens. These special ones. We got about 80 million of them. It is so great to be out with all of you tonight. Obviously, this is an award for my colleagues. I'm just the show horse. So I just want to thank my colleagues, especially Matt Keating, who's on the board here, doing great work. It's so wonderful to be with all of you leaders who've done so much to make this community what it is, and certainly our mayors, our tremendous mayors. So your leadership and your support has made all the difference over the years to the communities that we enjoy living in today. We have this wonderful opportunity to partner with great organizations and people who really care. And we're able to do that virtually every day. And it's not just, as Tanny was saying, the wonderful nonprofits. I've known Leah shortly, but Bruce longer, and Amy Klaben before her, and Hal taught me how to spell OCCH, and I'm a slow learner, but we Wallach and many others we've been able to work with. And as a community, when we come together, as Tanny pointed out, it's not, it's not one bank involved and the rest don't. We all play together. And it makes the community what it is. We have great leaders, Tim, Kenny. Just go around the room. There are many, many wonderful leaders. And of course, there are some special leaders. Bobby and his family and what they've done here consistently for 35 years. And 35 years is a great record. Bob Weiler is one of the most low-key, grossly under the radar, and he's involved in everything that's housing. And Bob, I think you're here. Would you stand up so we can give you a round of applause? Where are you, Bob? Well, again, he's hiding very, very well. So, but it's all of us together that are making the impact. Didn't you love those videos? Right? And think there are thousands of those and thousands more that preceded those. And that's just in the current residential living, all the housing that's been done. Now we're looking at a very interesting couple of years in front of us. And Homeport is going to have a vital role as the largest housing organization here in Central Ohio, as a housing organization that has proven a willingness and capacity to collaborate with other neighborhood groups and to work with OCCH and others to make a big impact. As rates have gone up, just as that meteor, as we were hearing about earlier, that Intel chip thing, that was where I thought you were going, right? So there's going to be a lot more demand for housing in Central Ohio, and there's, the mortgage rates are pretty high and housing starts are fairly low, so there's a risk now that those in neighborhoods are going to get squeezed out. There's a risk around affordability and some of the home counseling that was talked about, foreclosure prevention, staying in leased situations. There's a bigger need in 23 than there was in 22 or 21, and it's likely to get even bigger in 2023 and beyond. So this is an opportunity. That's why I mentioned to Emmett, there's an opportunity here. Be bold, be aspirational. The board's in a strategic planning moment, and they are feeling ambitious, which is great, but they need us, all of us, as partners to go forward. And so tonight's all about being partners, not about certainly all of us together as partners, together. We can make a big impact. The need's there. It's only going to get bigger if we don't do something to change that meteor course. Together we can do that. We can do that. And I have to, I am always reminded when I say partner that I miss my partner. So I just have to thank my bride and hopefully it's not going to change. We have 36 years and we'll stay 1 year ahead of Homeport. But as she reminds me, every day is an election day. So let me just close with, the Homeport team is very, very special. It's a great organization. And Maud, you have made it that way. You are sort of the glue here for generations. So love the recognition you received tonight. Put the tissues away. You deserve it, young lady. Now, you're just getting started, so we need another 30 couple of years, okay? Thank you for the recognition. Pleasure to be with all of you.
Welcome to the stage, Leah Evans, Homeport's president and CEO.
All right, hang in with me, okay. Thank you again, Steve. Your leadership and vision in our community and our partners at Huntington. And of course, a special thanks to Matt for his service on our board. We're almost done. We're getting there, okay? That's our program and our message for tonight, a message of resilience and hope. We are in an envious position as a community. We're growing. Every day there's another project announcement, another restaurant or brewery opening, and though we complain about our commutes, they aren't that bad. This is a great place to live. But many of our neighbors, residents, and friends and relatives, that's not the case. Thousands of people in our community struggle with housing stability and insecurity. Thousands more are underhoused, facing eviction and homelessness. So what can we do? Well, you're doing it. You're here partnering with us. Invest in us. Help us build more strong communities. We, along with our partners and peers, are working diligently every day to increase housing and affordability across Central Ohio, but there is still much more work to do. So as we conclude this year's celebration, I would like to ask for your support. Support for stronger communities, support for a future for family stability, and a support for a future Central Ohio that houses everyone. Your support, no matter the size, can and will make a difference in the community today. So to continue the work that you've seen here tonight, please text the word HOMES to 345-345 or scan the QR code on the cards throughout the room to make a contribution. Before I let you go, I want to share a couple moments of gratitude. That's actually why we have this event, really, to say thank you, and the food and the entertainment, but to say thank you is really why we have this event. To our wonderful partners, funders, stakeholders, team members, and the entire Central Ohio community. So thank you to our sponsors for supporting this event. Your sponsorship has been vital to the continued work of Homeport, and we could not succeed without you. So those are going to keep scrolling by. I'll keep talking. I want to shout out and thank State Auto for being our host and our partner and their team of caring and professional associates that have helped create this event tonight and make it a success. We truly appreciate your partnership and investment in our organization and our mission. And thank you. Now I'm going to be one looking for somebody. I want to give a special shout of gratitude out to one of our Homeport team members, Layden. Where are you, Layden Hale? Who he has worked. Why you say? Layden has worked diligently to keep people in their homes and make the dream of home ownership a reality for hundreds of people. He has been with Homeport for 16 years, and at the end of this year, he will retire. So we are all better for having known you and more knowledgeable because of you, Layden. Thank you so much for your service. I want to thank each and every one of our Homeport board members. They are volunteers, and they give hundreds of hours every year collectively to the governance of our organization so we can effectively do the work discussed here tonight. If you are a Homeport board member, please wave so that you can be thanked appropriately. So you know they won't let me leave without thanking our incredible Homeport team. You know, this is my first year at this, and they have been supporting me and directing me the entire way. So if you're a Homeport team member, please wave so that we can thank you for your time and service. And again, we would not be here without the diligent work of our resource development team, Maud Hill, Laverne Price, Ray George, and Steve Nickel. You've seen them running around all night. Thank you for making tonight's celebration a great success. All right, here we go. That was good, right? That was good. We should do this again. So same time next year, I'll save you a seat at our 2023 Voice and Vision event on October 19th. Stay well, be hopeful, and thank you. Good night.
Get back on it? Okay. Secret place. Ready? Vision accomplished. Here's the intro.
Beecham has only asked for two things the whole night. Best friends.
No, he's asked for some other stuff. He's asked for some other stuff.
That's what I said too.
Oh,
I said
okay,
two.
gotcha.
I'm going to give him at least one. I'm going to give you one. Just one.
That's me.
All right, we're almost done. I know you're ready. They told us 8:30.